Hello, welcome, good evening. My name's Liz Crandall, and this is my podcast, Guest List, where I, Liz Crandall, a woman who is on no one's guest list, am in fact guestless as I sit here and complain to you about things that really upset me this week on the internet. So sit back, enjoy, grab yourself a Diet Dr. Pepper, and let me get to ranting. Okay. Hey everyone, get to know me a bit. I'm Liz. This is my first time doing a podcast by myself, which is hard because normally I'm alone with my thoughts and now you have to be. So sorry about that. But no, I'm really excited to get started with this. The theme, how this works, I have a deck of cards I've written out here with things that really bugged me that I've seen this week, and I'm just going to talk about them. And I don't know how long it's going to take. I don't know how long you're going to be here for. I don't know how long I'm going to be here for. What matters to me is that I get some things off my chest that I need to. So I hope you enjoy. I hope you become a regular listener if my voice isn't too grating for you. And this microphone might also suck. I bought it for $30 at Best Buy. And my tripod might be shaking because I got that at Five Below. So stick with me here. Thank you. Our first topic, bada bing, bada boom, the tarot card reading videos on YouTube. Now, these might be the most genius way to make an easy buck on that stupid, dumb app. Because the more you sit and watch them, the more you're going to be sent. The more you try to not believe what they're saying, the more you're like, no, it's God, it's their spirits, and they're sending them to me, and they're important that I receive them. And then the algorithm, which is the God in question here, is just going to continuously send you more and more of them until you become so deluded past the point of reality that you might as well be asleep, which is what you should be if you are watching these videos that late into the night. And now I have fallen victim. I have fallen victim to these videos far too many times. I have truthfully believed things that were so outlandish, and that is on me. That is on me. That is on my need to doom scroll before I go to bed. Most of the things I'm going to talk about today are out of a terrible, terrible need for me to delete that stupid app from my phone. But alas, I shan't, because self-harm is cool. That's the big takeaway from my podcast, guys. Self-harm. Okay, moving on. Specifically, the most recent tarot card video I saw was one of the, my normal rotational few that I see every once in a while. And it said that one of my ex-boyfriends is going through a bisexual awakening. And the only thing I came up from that is I wish there was like a DraftKings-esque app where I could bet on which of my ex-boyfriends, my apologies, was going to come out as gay. Because I wish it was all of them. I think about that a lot. Some people are like, oh, my partner turned out to be gay and it like ruined my life. And it's like, how, dude? That is the best, in my opinion, that is the best possible scenario for why a relationship ends. Because it's like, oh my gosh, they liked your personality so much that they looked past the fact that they had zero sexual attraction to you. That is the gold mine affirming personality statement thing that could happen to you. You know what I mean? And people are like, oh God, that was so hard for me. And it's like, well, how? That's so great. You had a best friend who really liked your company and just had to go through a few things on their own. I don't see how that's a problem. I'm pro lavender marriages. I'm waiting for one myself. I truly think that is the only way I'll be happy. And I just don't understand why more of my ex-boyfriends haven't come out. Because I dress and talk like a man. This is not my best example of that, but generally, I act like one. I enjoy football, and it's not like a fake thing. Yeah. And so I just feel like at some point, I can only like shotgun with so many of my boyfriends before one of them realizes they appreciate the company of a man, right? Right. Okay, next topic. Moving on from the tarot cards. And I can slow down a bit. I'm talking too fast. Oh, this one I feel passionately about. The Wizard Liz, a creator who I was not privy to until this past week, got cheated on by her partner and the father of her unborn child 4 months into her pregnancy. And she is, it seems, one of those creators who does a lot of like dating advice and like feminine energy advice, which don't normally resonate well with me. But I had never seen this woman before in my life. And then I saw these videos and I saw what her ex-partner looked like. And I just think that we've come too far where dating spheres and leagues are just unfair because men will date women upwards of like 7 times hotter than them, and it's culturally acceptable. But if a dude looks in the general direction of a woman who is not in his league, riots happen. Streets are flooded with blood. Fires are set to churches. And it's like, this woman is 4 months pregnant with this guy's kid, right? Right. And he cheats on her? Like, what is wrong with these individuals? And it's a power thing, and I know, and there's like science behind this and narcissistic tendencies and da. But it just pisses me off. I'm getting mad here because that woman's hot as hell. Beautiful. And I shouldn't objectify. She's a beautiful woman. And that dude looked like a sewer rat. A sewer rat. And I don't know who these people are. So these are just my general, I don't even have a bias. I don't have prejudices against either of these people. I don't have preconceived notions of them. I just simply am stating that dude was chopped. And I don't even like to use that word because it makes me feel like I'm in middle school. But if I was in high school when chopped was a thing, I would have used it all the time. I find it not even funny. It's just one of the best descriptors that isn't saying beat or ugly. Chopped is hilarious. I'm happy with chopped. I don't know. That's something that I'm starting to feel out of touch on. Is like the chopped huzz. I'm 21 and it's making me feel like I'm not getting it. And I get really worried these days when like new phrases come out of the internet, or that's my first experience with them, that it's a stolen AAVE. And I don't know if that one is. I would love to be informed if it is. I could look it up myself. I'm sorry. I have the education and the ability and the outlets to do that. So I will research that because I shouldn't just ask people to explain it for me. As I was saying about the wizard Liz. Okay. Moving back to this. Also, sidebar, her ex-boyfriend's name is Landon. You cannot be a grown man named Landon. That's not allowed. And furthermore, I find it interesting that men are the ones who are afraid of being baby trapped because they are not the ones growing said baby. Like, this poor woman, right? 4 months is past the deadline for certain procedures. I'll say vaguely. Like, what is she now has, so then, like, he cheats on her, and there is this weird cultural expectation that women should, try to maintain the family unit, and, the nuclear family is so important. I don't know. Okay, I like doing this. I'm just going to sidebar. This is fun. I'm having fun. I'm having a good time. I hope you are. Anyways, like, what dudes are like, oh God, she's gonna baby trap me, oh God, and it's like, he has a very small 401k, regardless. They're not the ones who get baby trapped, we are. You know how many dads don't pay child support? A lot of them. And you're not the one stuck growing the kid. You're not the one whose body's gonna experience like terrible things to grow this kid. And then you're just gonna go and you're gonna philander. You're gonna be lustful and philander all over the place. You're philandering everywhere. I think cheating should be punishable with the death penalty. That's not true. It's a little true. I believe that a little bit. Like a little bit. I'm joking. And again, was I aware of the wizard Liz until a week ago? No. And that's sad. And that makes me feel bad because in a way, like, I'm really taking some sort of entertainment value from people's relationships who I don't know, which does make me feel perhaps like not the best person. Alas, it's my algorithm and it's nothing I can do about it. So, I mean, I could probably just stop. Again, the end-all be-all of this podcast is hopefully I will talk myself into deleting TikTok permanently because I don't need my brain to be filled with any of the things I'm going to go over today. That's not true. A couple of them are important. I have a few prompts in here that I think are interesting for the mass. Next one. Moving on. Okay, I have a segment here. This is my Phone a Friend segment where one of my friends gives me something that made them mad on the internet this week, and I get to talk about it. Generally, I want these to be pieces of lore from the internet that I'm not aware of. However, this is a situation I am aware of. This is call in from my friend Max Peterson. Max Peterson does not watch basketball. He doesn't watch the NBA. He doesn't watch the WNBA. I watch both the NBA and the WNBA. So he brought to me a general frustration that ESPN is pushing a certain rhetoric about Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. And I couldn't agree more, Max. I completely agree. Since I think, what was that? My sophomore year of college was the LSU Iowa game. Iowa. That can't be right. No, it is right. Iowa Hawkeyes. Yeah, where Caitlin Clark played. So basically, LSU with Angel Reese and Flage and like an incredible team. They beat Iowa with a not budding talent, but beginning popularity, Caitlin Clark, I think in her junior year, Angel Reese's junior year as well. And then rematch, it was a whole thing. And there began this narrative that Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark have this secret animosity between each other, and that Angel Reese is jealous of Caitlin Clark's success, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And it drives me out of my mind, because in any other non-women's sport, this would just be seen as two competitors being competitive. Like, that is what this is. These two people have faced off from college. They were also, I think, both, like, All-Americans in high school, probably saw each other a lot of times with AAU. These are two people that have been playing against each other for a while. And yet, for some reason, because they're women, and well, there's also, of course, conversation to be had about the fact that Caitlin Clark is white America's princess right now, and it's terrible, and we're witnessing firsthand just how hard black women in this country have it, especially in comparison to white women. And I'm not going to get preachy because I told myself this isn't a preachy podcast, but this is the point that I'm trying to make, is that Angel Reese is being made out to be this like angry, jealous villain. And they're taking clips of Angel Reese in particular, like post-game interviews where she's talking about being thankful that she is a name that people bring up when they talk about women's sports and the WNBA in particular. And all of the comments, always written by 30-year-old white men, by the way, always written by very disillusioned with their lives 30-year-old white men, are like, man, she wants to be Caitlin Clark like so bad, dude. And like, oh my God, I cannot even believe this. Like, oh my God, can she ever shut up about Caitlin Clark? Oh my God. And it's just, the fact that you know Angel Reese's name as a 30-year-old white dude from probably Kentucky is exactly what she's saying she's thankful for. And I don't know. I think the internet has ruined a lot of our understanding of nuance and general just critical thought. I don't think we have a lot of that anymore culturally. I think we are missing a fair amount of very important amounts of critical thought, in fact. As my dad always used to say, common sense is just not very common anymore. He also didn't have common sense. I digress. But it's like, of course, you can like Caitlin Clark and think she's the best ball player of all time for women, and shut up, you know? But to think that Angel Reese, who is a very consistent player, puts up very good stat lines, has been a very consistently in line with Caitlin Clark's abilities. Like, these are two top of their game women athletes at a sport that is having this incredible, beautiful, like, rebirth into the cultural zeitgeist. And what? Angel Reese can't say that she's happy that she's somebody people talk about without getting hate? And then, of course, this recent game that the two of them faced off, Angel Reese received, she had people shouting the N-word at her. And it's like, why do you guys think that she would be pushing this narrative? She's not. These social media sites for WESPN and ESPN, they're taking these clips of her just talking about being proud of herself. And they're clipping them and they're posting them and they're posting something with Caitlyn in the same timeline. And all of a sudden, all the comments are like, she won't shut up, da, 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 da. And it's just the way that these social medias and ESPN and podcasts talking about it are framing it. It's entirely the framing because they want this villain and good guy storyline, and it really should be noted that the race of these two individuals plays into the fact that this is the storyline that they're choosing. And it's weird. This could have been Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, and I didn't live through that, so maybe this is honestly very well paralleled to what that looked like, and I don't know. I know race relations at the time weren't great, so perhaps. But just in my brain, it's so sad because Angel Reese is such a fun athlete to watch and such a good, inspirational person. And also, women's sports should be shit-talking all day long. My favorite thing about any sport, ask anyone what their favorite part of hockey is. It's the fights. It's always the fights. It's watching people get gritty against each other. It's watching these long-term, like, people that have been playing against each other for years throwing it back and forth, having a day, both of them putting up good stat lines. It's exciting. It's fun. There's energy there. That is the nature of competitive sports. It's the fact that they're, hey, get this, you won't believe it, competitive. So yeah, God forbid, they do hand signals back and forth. They have a little bit of fun with it. Yeah, they shit talk. Good. I want to see it. You know, if I was a younger girl, I had a lot of aggression as a kid, which is being brought out now, as you can see, as an adult, because I never got to get it out. If I had had the opportunity to really get in the face of my peers the way I've seen the boys do around me my whole life, I think I would have been a better adjusted person. But we're created, like, the social dynamics of this world are centered around women have to fight each other behind their backs. So when we see two women being competitive, going back and forth, having some sort of a rivalry, or at least not even a rivalry, just the competitive nature between the two of them, we all of a sudden are like, this can't be. Ah, no. Women being normal in the sport that they play, that they get paid millions of dollars to play. Oh, this cannot be. We have to stop it. The girls are fighting. And it's like, what? No, they're playing the game that they love, that they make money to play. And we should encourage it. I want to go to well, this makes me sound weird. If I were to go to a girls' AAU tournament, like an AAU, like U15, and I saw girls doing at each other, I'd get so excited. Because I think we need that. We need girls. Women don't have to be humble. Women don't have to be humble. They don't. They can be proud of themselves and their accomplishments, and they can think that they're good, and they don't have to be demure and mindful all the time. Like, they don't. We can be proud of ourselves and our achievements and boost ourselves up from time to time. God forbid it, man. God forbid a woman is like, damn, I had a good game. I shouldn't swear. Oh, damn, I had a good game today. I had a good game. I played well. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of my teammates. God forbid it. Not everything has to be, oh man, yeah, I just went out there, did my best. No, it was really not a big deal. It's like women are expected to be these incredible things, but they never show the effort in doing so because that would require thanks. Women can ask for thanks. Women can say, hell yeah, I am somebody who's a big name in this game right now. And this is in particular to Angel Reese, because no one gets mad at Caitlin Clark when she, says that she's happy where she is. But she is notably overly humble in a way that honestly makes me sad, because I wish we had a version of Caitlin Clark where she was just being a problem all the time. You know what I mean? I wish we had a Caitlin Clark who was genuinely up in people's faces, because she is a little bit, but just in post-game interviews, she's like, this is my Caitlin Clark impression. Yeah, I mean, we just did our best out there, and I did the best that I could, and I'm really thankful for every one of my teammates and all of their achievements, and I couldn't have done anything without them. It's like, oh my God, girl, you went for 50, okay? You went for 50 points. Girl, you shoot 75%, okay? Oh my God, just say that you're good. Anyways, okay. Those are my thoughts. I think ESPN is pitting these women against each other to rage bait and to garner more viewership, but it's actually putting Angel Reese in danger, because we cannot deny the race relations in this country and the conservatism shift and the shift we're seeing a lot towards just a general acceptance of racism in public spaces. And I say that as a Boston Celtics fan. I'm kidding. I'm joking. Okay. Okay, this next topic. I'm going to progressively get myself angrier and angrier as this goes. Can be defined as an overview of the internet's lack of understanding of the entertainment industry as a whole. I'm not truthfully in the entertainment industry yet. I'm not. I'm just a student. I'm a television, radio, and film major, and I would love to. I would love to. I'm sorry, I'm checking the time to make sure I'm not yapping your guys' ears off. I would truthfully love to be in the industry. However, being my major, having done a few internships and such, you get a general understanding of how most things work. And I'm going to sit back. I'm going to sit back for a bit because I'm getting too riled up. I don't even know if I can. I'm going to... Yeah, okay, this is fine. Industry plants. Yes, industry plants. We've heard it. We've seen the accusations fly. And industry plants and the conversations around them make me angry because in the inception of the term, industry plant referred to when record labels would hire two models to lip sync a song for a music video to claim that they were like a new music group, musical artist, and it would just be a different person would be singing. So that was what it originally was used for. I guess kind of currently in the zeitgeist, it's used to represent a person who kind of got picked up early by a label and the label's really pushing them. And it might not be with like kind of their original vision as an artist, and they might not be making a lot of artistic choices for themselves, and rather being kind of created by this formula designed for the masses. My confusion with this in particular is who is getting these accusations. Doechii, for example, has been a big one, and especially her song "Anxiety" that she released. Using the Gautier sample. That song, she released it as fan service because years ago, she had done a version of that with the chorus in particular. And there are videos of her in her room working on that. Like, she was posting those to YouTube. We have documentation of her without a label, not signed, not working with any teams, not working with a management team, genuinely creating this art that's still true to her vision. That ended up getting sampled on Sleepy Hollow's album. I forget which one because it's Sleepy Hollow and I don't care. But yeah, she has become very, very massively successful, but it wasn't overnight. This girl has been working. I mean, I got to see her on my campus here my freshman year because she was an opener at Juice Jam. This is not somebody who got pitched to a team that they were like, oh, we know how to market this woman. She is true to her vision. Alligator Bites Never Heals, a phenomenal mixtape. It deserved. She won a Grammy, and she's getting friggin' industry plant allegations, and it drives me out of my mind. The next one, Lola Young. Lola Young released her new song, One Thing. I'm sorry, he's hanging out with me. I did not realize. Lola Young released her new song, One Thing, I think. That is the name of the new song. Like a week and a half ago, maybe like 2 weeks ago now. And people don't like it. And they can't seem to articulate why. But I will articulate it for you all. Lola Young is built a fair amount like me. Not exactly the thinnest woman in the world. She has incredible style. She's absolutely beautiful. Body's tea, if you ask me. I think she's stunning head to toe. But we aren't used to seeing, and I'm going to get cultural again here, so stick with me. We aren't used to seeing women that aren't below a size 4 necessarily be very outwardly sexual, except honestly in like pornography. You don't generally see characters like that. Even, Kat in Euphoria had an interesting storyline about this, which eventually got scrapped because of complications between her and Sam Levinson, the evil man that was behind that show. So I think that it's really weird when you look at Sabrina Carpenter and you look at the popularity that she had. Especially, like, she does the sex poses on stage. It's cute, it's quirky, but she's... And I don't want to say she's infantilizing herself because she's not. But the whole thing is about how cute and tiny she is. Like, the album was called Short and Sweet. She always has on... Like, she's very aware of her shape and size. And so when she acts outwardly sexual, it's somehow made tasteful by her tininess. Does that make... I don't know if I'm making any sense right now, but stick with me. So in my opinion, it's really weird to watch people hate this Lola Young song, because I think it's a well-produced song. The lyrics are fun. It's kitschy. I like it. It's fun. It's a good time. And it's, yeah, is it outwardly pretty sexual in the lyrics? But let's not act like that's not new. I mean, look at Desert Eagle off Cowboy Carter. Look at, like, this... Songs explicitly about sex aren't a new thing for us, culturally. Even in the slightest. We're not in the 1920s. This isn't a swing song written about flappers showing their cooters or whatever people used to do back then during Prohibition era. We're not like that. We're a bit more of a sexually liberated society. And so that's why it really threw me. People being like, I just thought it was distasteful. I really thought the song was distasteful. And it's like, girl, shut up. Okay? Then don't taste it, bruh. Like, and then people are trying to... the other thing, okay. And then this is now back to my nuance point that I made earlier. Lola Young and Doechii are, I think, two examples of this phenomenon that I'm referring to, which is the lack of nuance that people can apply to situations. For example, the Met Gala Doechii incident where she was yelling at one of her team who couldn't keep an umbrella right over her as it was pouring and she was in her full Louis Vuitton outfit before going into the Met. Should Doechii have treated one of her employees like that? No. However, can we as people understand that Doechii will likely get more hate for that action because she's a black woman? Yes. So these two things can be true at once. I can choose to be like, well, she's human, and I understand that maybe that wasn't the correct way to talk to somebody on your team, but I also have been overwhelmed many times in my life and overstimulated and said things I didn't mean to people I care about. I can rationalize that and say, I don't think that that's the best thing she's done. But then when people are immediately just seconds away from jumping on the hate train, oh, she's a diva, and oh this, and oh that, and it's like, Louis Vuitton dressed her in an outfit I can only imagine how much it cost. Far more than anything ever should, to be honest. And it's like, don't you understand that although, yes, it can be true that Doechii shouldn't have treated her team like that, you also have to understand that the perception of that event will be worse because Doechii is a young black woman who is confident in herself. And we, culturally, and I say we, not including myself, obviously, because I'm talking about it, but I'm just saying the general culture is much more unkind to young black women who carry themselves with confidence because they aren't even cool with women who carry themselves with confidence. Never mind the intersectionality of that identity. And she's also queer too. So like, you guys have to be able to understand that, yes, criticisms of her are valid, but maybe think before you talk about it, because you also have to understand that there's more criticism coming to that individual because of the perception of their actions, because of the way we view race and gender and sexuality and what marginalized groups look like in this country. I'm talking about this as an American from an American perspective. All right. And then to that same conversation with the Lola Young thing, it's like, yes, you may dislike the song, but you also have to understand that there are people disliking the song on the basis that they aren't cool with women being sexually confident when they're not stick thin. Like, you have to be able to exist in this timeline where these two things can be true at once. And yes, you might be somebody who doesn't like the song or doesn't like the artist, but you also need to understand the social climate that we live in to be able to have the lens to view these things with. Okay, that's the end of that spiel. Actually, no, it's not. Benson Boone with the industry plan allegations. Benson Boone, I think, will be really cool in 5 years when he gets a bit more say in his creative process. That's my thoughts. I think he has a good voice. Obviously, that's how he got picked up. I think he was on American Idol. And he's had several popular songs. I call them kind of more TikTok popular because they weren't necessarily like off an album that did well. They were just kind of these EPs that have a catchy chorus to throw on to be a viral TikTok sound, what have you. But that's what a lot of these bigger record labels want now. They want songs to do well on TikTok. I mean, Halsey did her whole video explaining it. That's just a very real thing. So with Benson Boone, The jumpsuits I don't think are his thing. I think he has almost a rock sounding voice. I don't think he has to be the next pop boy of the month. And it's also, he is Paul Mescal in a sparkly, he is Paul Mescal in a sparkly jumpsuit. That is what he is. And I'm just over it. I'm really over it. Okay, and the other thing that people on the internet say that drives me out of my mind is media training. And like, you'll see a video, like I said, I saw a video of like Kieran Culkin. And he was outside of the stage door at the show that he's doing in New York right now, and he was signing stuff, and somebody was like, oh, like, I got your character in Succession. And he was like, oh, so you're an asshole, huh? And all the comments were like, oh my god, you know he was the worst in media training as a kid. And I don't know if this is me being dense or the internet being dense, but I'm worried that people truthfully believe that there are celebrities that are being sent to boot camps as children to be trained on how to talk and interact with people like people. And it's like, number one, I get confused with the media training thing because we have a name for this. It's called public relations. It's called PR. A lot of these bigger celebrities have PR teams. This is like just basic stuff, you know? And so why aren't we just like, oh, their PR team didn't prep them at all? Like, why did we come up with media training? And who coined that? Who started it, and how can I get rid of them? Oh, God. Okay, next card, because that one took me way too long to get through. Ooh, okay, I have a new segment. Okay, I'm excited. New segment. Oh no, I'm llamaless. I've been llamaed. No. My llama had my bonnet on it and my face mask, which I intend to use once I'm done filming this. Segment is called Propaganda I'm Not Falling For. Propaganda I'm Not Falling For today. Any TikTok dating theories in particular, and I don't think this one was coined from TikTok. I think this is a Sex and the City thing, but I've seen it on TikTok. People talk about it so much on TikTok. People talk about theories about dating all the time on TikTok, and every time I see one of those videos, I want to curl up in a ball and cry in the corner, because what have we come to as a society? The one that really bothers me, however, is the taxi cab theory. For those who are unawares, the taxi cab theory is this theory that men just one day decide that they're ready for marriage, and the first person that they pick up after making that determination is going to be the person that they marry. And this is some of the biggest copium I've ever seen in my life. Some of you women, and I love you all so dearly, but some of you would rather die than accept that somebody else might have been more compatible for your ex than you were. Some of you would rather drive yourself crazy coming up with different theories for this stuff, rather than just admit that maybe he broke up with you not because he wasn't ready for marriage, but because he wasn't ready for marriage with you. I think so many women are obsessed with like a certain date and time on weddings that they are a lot more willing to put aside their standards. You know, because it's to them, it's like, oh, well, I want to be in a stable, happy home, and I'm a woman, so I guess I'm running out of time, and what have you. And so I think that a lot of people get stuck being like, well, this person is almost all my checkboxes, so I'm just going to go with them. And then when that person is like, well, you're not all my checkboxes either, I don't want to marry you, they're like, what? What do you mean? No, this can't be so. And then they hate on the next person this person dates. And it's different, like, if they cheated on you, if they abused you, if they did da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But if you guys just broke up because one of you wanted to marry and one of you didn't, maybe that person just didn't want to marry you. Maybe it isn't this great grand conspiracy that men work like taxi cabs in New York City. And maybe, like, because I've not seen Sex and the City, which is my fault. But, like, I think Carrie probably coins this because she's mad that Big got married, I think in Paris. I don't know. I've watched things through TikTok. And if that's the truth, I think it's well regarded on the internet that that woman was far more compatible for Big than Carrie. So, like, even the show itself created it as this, like, copium for Carrie, and then we've actually coined it. We actually use that to think about how to go about dating. It's like, oh my god, shut up. It's exhausting. dating culture on TikTok in particular, and like the conversations that happen around it, genuinely make me want to curl up in a ball and die sometimes. Okay, what are we at? Okay, I have 22 minutes left ish. Probably can do a bit more than that. Next topic. Oh, God, this is gonna be a tough one to talk about. Okay. Next card was The Last of Us. And my thoughts on the TV show. I'm going to specify that I'm talking about the TV show. I have not played the game. I have really bad hand-eye coordination, and I'm not good at video games. Notably so. Really bad, in fact. So I have a best friend that I call regularly, and we talk about, because he was a big fan of the game, and he played them, and he loved them, and he plays them a lot. So we talk about, the differences between the game and the show. And I have a hard time not feeling bad for Bella Ramsey all the time. Because I think they intentionally cast somebody who's a very talented actor, but not necessarily identical looking to the original character, because they didn't want the character to be sexualized. I imagine that was part of, because that was an issue with the original Ellie in The Last of Us, or so I've heard, is that fans of the game, deeply sexualized this child. And so I could see the creators being like, well, if we make the actor, look nothing like the character, then perhaps we might not have an issue with the sexualization. But what is one thing that people hate more than sexualizing something is when they can't sexualize something or when they don't want to. And I think that's kind of this tough part with Bella Ramsey, is that Bella Ramsey has a very hard part to play here because Ellie is a beloved character by the video game community. And because they didn't cast to look 100% identical to the character, they were already given, Bella Ramsey was already given this mixed bag of first impressions that they were going to receive from the audience. And then the writers decided just to go haywire. And I think it's really unfortunate that Bella Ramsey gets a lot of slack, because I do think they do a really good job in the show with the script. But the changes that the script made at times from the original source material are so odd to me. And also because the way the game is told in the second doesn't really follow necessarily a very linear or chronological order, and because spoiler alert, but Abby kills Joel, and then you're forced to play as Abby for the next 6 hours afterwards, even though you hate her with the fire of 1,000 suns. It's a told a much different way, a much more interactive way, I think, that TV I don't think has the ability to really do. And so this is my conversation about adaptations in general. It's cool. Watching your favorite video game get an adaptation, it's cool. I get it. However, when the property is very beloved, I don't understand why companies feel the need to potentially tarnish the reputation of said product or said IP instead of just expanding on the universe. The Last of Us has some of the most impressive world building I've ever seen. And it's one of my favorite zombie apocalypse universes. The way that the zombies are is phenomenal. It's just, the whole thing is really well developed and the world's really exceptional. You could have made an entire spin-off TV show from that universe without any of the expectations that are placed upon you when adapting a game. So many details of that game you could have explored, different places that they went to, the early days of it, what happened, how the Fireflies came to be. You had so much potential here, but instead they just do these, what seem to be one-to-one remakes that they start throwing wrenches in occasionally to make it less one-to-one, because they decide they don't want to do the same thing anymore. And it's like this ebb and flow of taking from what became, but then wanting to do your own thing with it, but then being worried about backlash for doing your own thing with it. And then also with the show, they make these characters so cute and cuddly. And they're not, but they are. You know what I mean? It's like, according to my friend, Ellie rips through hundreds of people before determining to, spoiler alert again, to spare Abby's life. And in the show, like, they're not really willing to make these characters do the awful things that you're forced to do when you're playing the game. And I think that that kind of loses. A story like The Last of Us is interesting to me because you're playing it, you're existing in this universe. So I think they could have done a lot more interesting things using this already perfect. Like, the stage was set, for The Last of Us. The stage was there. They had all this cool stuff going on with it. They could have really, I think, locked in and picked a different time frame or a different story to tell and craft something using, people from the game and had cameos and stuff. Or maybe at one point, like, Joel comes in and it's like, they could have shaped this world instead of just retelling the same story again. And I think that's just a general feeling I have about Hollywood in general these days, is that rather than exploring these well-established properties and seeing what more you can do, you just get these one-to-one remakes, and they're lame and they're lazy and they're taking writers' jobs, which is what I want to do, so it's really hard for me to just sit by and watch. But that's why I was really excited about Sinners this year, and I'm so happy Sinners did super well in the box office. I'm happy I've gotten to see it 3 times. It's just fresh and new, and it tells this amazing story, and it blends genres, and it was the most blockbustery blockbuster I've ever seen blockbuster, and I just adored it. I adored it. The music was incredible, the soundtrack was incredible, the directing was incredible, the fact that it was the first woman to DP for IMAX was incredible. Like, Ryan Coogler is a genius, and I love him, and I could kiss him on the forehead. I adore him. He's such a brilliant... If I kissed him on the forehead, I'd hope that maybe my third eye would too awaken in the way that his has, because he just gets it. Like, there's some filmmakers, and it's just like, wow, front to back, you just get it, Especially for this being his first original script that he's worked on as far as, like, feature-length films. Just a creative who just gets it. Just brilliant. Anyways, I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. We're off the cards again. Okay, next card. Oh, okay, this is going to be more of a ranty one as well. Physical media. What are we at? Oh, God, I have 15 minutes. Okay. Physical media... George Orwell's 1984 was taken off of the Kindle store, owned by Amazon, notably. Okay, number one, I have to preface this. This was told to me by my friend. I do not know if this is true. I didn't look it up. So I could be spreading misinformation right now, but it sounds about right to me. Sounds like something I'd believe. We're all susceptible to misinformation, by the way. It's both sides of the spectrum. If you're like me and you heard your friend say something at dinner the other night and you were just like, well, why would they lie about it? Yeah, that was the furthest research I did. However, if this is true, I have a lot of thoughts about this. Number one, I refuse to get a Kindle for a platitude of reasons. Multitude. Sorry, I don't know why I said platitude. Wrong word, Liz. For a multitude of reasons. Number one, I love reading in public because I love feeling better than other people. I do. I love it. I love being like, oh, what did you think I was using an audiobook? Oh, I could never. Oh, no, I only like real words. Real words for me only, please. Or on the other end of that, I like to feel embarrassed because I don't want people to read a book that I'm reading if it's, like, not necessarily a well-regarded book. The Kindle takes away the fun in that, The Kindle takes away, mysterious and cool. It's like, nah, you spent, like, $120 to read more realistically, probably. I'm sorry I burped. To read more realistically, probably, but to also be, like, less cool in the process. The Kindle might be, like, the lamest thing. And I hate to say that, because reading is awesome and more people should read. And I hope that we eventually... I'm going to sidebar, and we're going to come back to George Orwell. This generation of kids needs a Suzanne Collins style incredible work of fiction so badly to save them from the clutches of brain rot. Oh my God. Because when I was like, when we were growing up, people my age, like, we had The Maze Runner, Diverge, and we had these books that were swarming the shelves and everyone was reading them. And if you didn't read them in enough time, you get spoiled and everyone would be mad. And, like, the youth book market was a real thing, and I haven't heard of, like, a series of books being popular for, like, really popular. I mean, when was the last time you heard of a young adult a young adult film adaptation of a book. Because that was like the thing. It was after Harry Potter. It was like, oh, like this is such a marketable group of people because they love talking about things with each other. Let's target them, make the movie out. It will get like so much money out of this. It's a great business scheme. And then nobody, I don't know if, I'm sure people are writing. I just don't think this newest generation is necessarily super interested in reading, and that's not their fault. It's, COVID's fault and many other things. But they need it. They need a book that becomes so awesome that everyone reads it. Because, like, I know a lot of people around my age, like early 20s, were trying to get back into reading because a lot of us did grow up in, like, the Maze Runner heavy, and this is, again, early 20s. For some people, it would be, like, Hunger Games more specifically, or Twilight, or, there's always been these book crazes. I haven't heard of a book craze. And that breaks my little heart. My heart is breaking. These kids have nothing. But anyways, back to George Orwell in 1984. It's bad. If that's true, it's really scary. And it's probably some publishing issue or something like that, or who knows. But the implications of the lack of physical media that people own is very real. When we only own things through clouds and through, companies that at any point could strip us of those things, we don't really own those things now, do we? When you don't own any DVDs, you don't own any movies. You don't own them. They're not yours. They just, the streaming services that it's letting you use them as long as you pay them a fee. Even Amazon Prime, you can buy a movie on there. If they ever were to take it off, they could take it off your TV. That $20 could have been ill spent. As you can see, based on all my CDs right here, I'm a big proponent in owning physical media because it's also really sad to think about lost media and to think about the fact that so many artists never put their stuff, like this, had stuff come out on CDs, never put it on Spotify or Apple Music or anything. And so there's so much music and so many stories that we've lost because a lot of these forms of media consumption have been digitized. And so that's why I'm really, really, really big on, I'm happy all my friends are too for the most part. So we like to go buy books. It's a thing. Like one of my best friends works at a bookstore. We all like to go to record stores. It's just our things. But it's so important to own the stuff you like. Because number one, you're giving the creators of those things a better payout. Because streaming, I don't know how the stats work for Kindle. But like, you're giving those real creatives a bigger cut, realistically. It's their merchandising, because CDs, records, and stuff, that's all under technically merchandising, I believe. And you're helping them more than you're helping a big, massive media conglomerate. And so if it's true that, and that's a rough book for Amazon to take off, very stupid of them because the implications of it are very clear. Yes, let's remove the dystopian novels about big, massive companies owning everything and taking away stuff. I'm sure no one will put 2 and 2 together. And it's like, oh, dude, I just don't get it. I think it's really, the technology's great because it made things convenient, but it made them too convenient that we're going to lose some of that convenience. And we're going to be potentially put in danger because of how much we've become reliant upon convenience. And that's why I love my stuff. I love having stuff. I'm a big advocate for having stuff. Just keep stuff. Don't hoard, but keep stuff. Get stuff. Find stuff. Find a collectible you like. Find something that you're interested in that you can, occasionally, I got a paycheck. I'll put $15 aside to go look at a couple maybe new CDs. I want Legos. I want a new candle. Just collect stuff that means something to you. Because everything today, it's like, hobbies generally for a lot of people revolve around their phone. It's just kind of like, and I get it because that's where everything in the world is. I'm interested in writing. I'm going to watch a YouTube video about it. I'm interested in this. I'm going to engage with this media platform. It's cool and all, but just ground yourself. Find the stuff again that makes you happy and ground yourself in it. I try to listen to a couple of these whole albums a day. Most of these I've already listened to. These are my good albums. I have a massive CD collection that was my dad's before he passed. I'm trying to listen to those every day. It might be albums that I don't enjoy at all, but I'm engaging with something that's very present and concrete with me. And that's why I really like it. Okay. Oh, and I had a second note on that. Nintendo games, the new Switch games, allegedly, no longer have like the actual game upon the cartridge. The game. I don't play games, so I'm gonna phrase this. My friend just told me about this. The Nintendo game cards no longer have the game on them. They only have an access code, which means that you, again, don't own the game. The Nintendo store can get rid of the game from their online presence, and then the game is gone from your own device, even if you bought it, even if you have the physical card. And so that's just like, I hate it. I hate it so much. What am I at for time? Oh. Am I out of time? Oh, no, I'm not. Okay. 7 minutes. Okay, we're going to power through. I got 3 cards left. Okay, new card. Oh! Sitting back down. We have more stuff about books. Women really liking since, and this has been like a phenomenon before then, but since Colleen Hoover, I think there's been a really big uptick in women reading books, smut books, Booktok books, particularly one with really interesting dynamics. Obviously, we have talked about it. Everyone in the world's talked about it. But because of the movie adaptation of It Ends With Us, a lot of conversations were had about the type of relationships that Colleen Hoover writes about, and perhaps how she doesn't necessarily condemn those relationships, but rather doesn't necessarily condemn those relationships, but rather glamorizes and romanticizes them. The first time I watched one of my friends read a Colleen Hoover book, I was on a bus to a lacrosse game my junior year of high school. My friend was probably 17 or 18, and she was reading it, and she flew through them. Very smart, incredible woman I'm discussing here. Still friends with her. And I remember she looked at me and she was like, these books are so good, you have to read one. And now, I'm a bit of a fantasy nerd. That's my genre. I'm in the middle of Throne of Glass right now. It's not that good, but damn, it's interesting. Like, from a writing style perspective, it's not Tolkien, it's Sarah J. Maas. But it keeps you interested, and it's fun, and I haven't read in a while, so I'm just trying to have fun for a little bit before I get back into, like, denser stuff. But she didn't really warn me about what it was about, and I started to read It Ends With Us, because that was the massively popular one. All the girls in my high school were reading it. And I had this realization as I was going through it of what exactly it was I was reading. Like, it's, for those who are unfamiliar with the plot, girl, she grew up in an abusive household, somehow took in, like, a homeless guy, wrote letters to Ellen. I wish I was making any of this up, by the way. Wrote letters to Ellen to make herself feel better about all of this, and then moved out to Boston. Her dad died. That's when the book begins. She meets this guy on a rooftop. His name's Stupid or something. It's like Ryland and Atlas, I think, which is... they can be named John and Brian, like we don't need to come up with fake names anymore. Fake book names is also a big pet peeve of mine, which is why I like fantasy, because they can kind of come up with anything they want. But if I'm reading about a character named Ryland, I'm perhaps annoyed. But anyways, so this book is just about this abusive relationship beginning to unfold, and I think I understand what Colleen Hoover's doing, which is that she's truthfully writing from someone actively living out an abusive relationship in the way that she's not reflecting upon it. And when you're in the midst of an abusive relationship, you're not able to have perspective. So although from the outside looking in, someone would be like, these are abusive things that are happening to you. From your perspective, it's almost scarier to believe that this person is doing these things intentionally to hurt you. So it's easier to believe that they're unintentional things that they're doing. I don't know if this video is still going. Anyways, okay. I'm filming this on my iPhone, by the way, with my tiny little microphone, and I'm just worried my phone's dead a little bit, but it should be fine. But anyways, so I have a particularly tough time with the Colleen Hoover books, because when she's choosing to write from this specific angle of someone actively living through these things and not reflecting upon them, it does make it seem really fun and pretty, and I'm not saying, obviously, the pushing of the stair scene, not fun. However, the levity with which she writes about it becomes part of the game of the book. And it normalizes a lot of these really terrible things in a way that I don't think she's intending to do, but low-key maybe, bruh. Because it's not, like, she's written too many of these books to not be a little bit cognizant of it. And I think it's tough to watch people, because, like, I don't necessarily think that just because somebody reads a book, they're going to normalize these behaviors and potentially be at more of a risk of an abusive relationship or da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But for that matter, I do think it's tough when I'm looking at my other friends who are like 17, when I'm 17 reading it, and I'm like, yo, like, most of you guys grew up in happy households with happy families. I don't want you to read something like this and be like, this is what love should look like. Or this is, like, great love. Because I think that's the other thing. A lot of people that have been in abusive relationships, myself included, will talk about this phenomenon where it's like you're almost convincing yourself that you're in the better relationship than your peers. Like, when I was in my abusive relationship, I was convinced that he loved me so much more than my friends' partners loved me because he was fighting through his internal battles. And yes, sometimes he'd slip up, but he was fighting through them to love me, when that's not the case. And so that's, I guess, the fear that I have when I read those books is for, like, young people that might read them and see them. It's, are you going to think that somebody fighting through their pain and hurting you in the process is deeper, more profound love? Because it's not. It's not your job to heal somebody you're dating. It's not my job to heal somebody I'm dating. It's not somebody's job to heal me. My therapist, though, that is her job. Love her. But anyways, okay, next topic. I think the last topic of the night. My final segment. Okay, and this is the final segment of the show. Yep. 42 seconds left. This segment is called What is my favorite YouTube video of the week? And this week's favorite YouTube video is the W Magazine Cardi B ASMR interview. If you like ASMR, lock in. Genuinely go find the video, go listen to it. I have never found a video that puts me to bed faster. I've never once, it's a 14-minute long video. I've never once finished it without going, If Cardi B were to leave her life as a very talented musician today and become an ASMR artist on Patreon, I would drop a band to listen to her go, oh, grrr, oh, grrr. And I'm not doing it right, obviously, because look at me. I wasn't going to do it right. But if I could buy that forever and own it on DVD, callback. I would in a heartbeat. Oh my God, I would in a heartbeat. Oh, it's so exceptionally relaxing and her voice is so pretty and oh, I love it. And for that matter, all of the W Magazine ASMR with celebrities, they're a must watch. But anyways, so I'm Liz Crandall. That was my podcast. Thank you for listening. If you got all the way through that, honestly, like, you're my best friend and I love you. And if you didn't get all the way through it, I don't blame you. Leave a like and subscribe, man. I'll catch you next week. Ha ha ha. Oh, and if you guys agree with any of this stuff, leave comments down below and stuff. Because I love to talk. And I'd love to talk more about anything that I brought up. Anyways, love y'all. Bye.